Hi guys, and welcome to the fourth tutorial of our Rainmeter series. Now, today we're gonna talk a little bit about the Rainmeter and the Metadata section. So it's gonna be a bit more theory and not that much of coding. But let's go and dive right into it. So we'll load up our Hello World skin from the last tutorial. So you see it here, and I will demonstrate all the Rainmeter and metadata section properties that you can set on this little skin here. So let's go and edit it and get that one over here. Okay. Alright, now the first thing that we've also already talked about a little bit is the update. Now, update, I told you guys it's measured in milliseconds, and it is the number that specifies how often your skin will redraw itself. So default would be 1000. Now 1000 would mean every second it will redraw itself, and let's just keep it there for now. That is basically all. The only thing is a negative number, and it doesn't matter if it's -1 or 2 or 1000. Any negative number will have the effect that it will always only be redrawn when it's loaded or refreshed. So yeah, keep that in mind. Okay, now the next option I want to talk about is something that, interestingly enough, gets not highlighted. So for some reason, I don't know, but it's definitely an option of the Rainmeter section. It's default update divider. Okay, now the default update divider sets basically the update divider for the whole skin. You can also set the update divider in each section differently. What is the update divider? The update divider is basically a number that is multiplied with the update. So if let's put in 4, okay? Now, if I put in 4, the update for every meter or measurement in the skin would now be 1000 milliseconds times 4, so it would be 4 seconds. At first I thought, like, doesn't really make sense. Why do we do this? But think about that. You have two little animations, okay? And they have to be updated like every half second. So you'd go ahead and say, hey, I need an update of 500. And you also have 4 or 5 strings or bars or whatever that do not have to be updated every half second, but rather every 2 seconds, okay? So now you would just say default update dividers 4, then you don't have to write it everywhere, and in just the 2 sections where you would define and do your animations, you would override it and say update divider equals 1, and then it will update every half second, while the rest will just update every 2 seconds, and you don't have to write it everywhere, redundant and stuff. Okay. So, oh, I forgot, Rainmeter section. Sorry guys. The Rainmeter section basically is for the whole skin, so those are like global kind of options that you set. Okay, yeah. Now, the next thing is accurate text. Accurate text. This is essentially a bool. I did not notice a whole lot of difference. We can see if we specified if it actually gets that much better. Not really, it just gets put a little bit to the left, so I'm not quite sure. Maybe there are some animations or other things you want to use that on. I had no use for it as of now, but it definitely has some kind of meaning, so just keep that in mind. Dynamic window size. Now dynamic window size as well is a bool, and it's basically just if you have meters or bars or anything in there that would change in height or in width, you would set dynamic window size to 1, and when the update comes and your meter gets out of bounds, basically out of your rectangle of your skin, then the skin would automatically get wider or taller. So yeah. Okay. Now drag margins. I hope you all know what a margin is. So basically can define a space that goes from the border of your skin basically inwards to the center, and there are 4 numbers. So here it starts with left, top, right, and bottom. So if you would for example specify 100 and 100, let's try that. Then refresh the skin. Now, if you click here, you cannot drag and drop it anymore. But let's see if no. Okay, 100 was a little bit too much. But if you go with less, probably 10 would do. Then you should be able to. No, no. Here, if you go like totally to the border of the edge, you cannot drag and drop it anymore. While if you go here, you still can. So, well, you get the hang of it. Okay, tooltip hidden. There's lots of tooltip options. I'm not quite sure why you would do a tooltip hidden. Just don't specify any tooltips. But I suppose if you have tooltips all over the place and you just don't want them anymore, or want to make it a dynamic options, or no, that's not dynamic. Well, anyways, it is there. It would hide any tooltip you would put into a meter. So let's just try it for a second. Let's go with tooltip text equals my tooltip. Oops. Okay. And let's go with 0 here so that we can actually see if it works. Refresh, and sure enough, there it is. My tooltip tip. My tooltip. Yeah. So now if we go and set that to 1, and refresh the skin, well, that's gone. You could also just erase that. Whatever. Okay. Now, the next thing is groups, or group. It's just called group. Okay. We will definitely get into that later on for more detail. So just in short, you can group either different sections that you have created or different skins into a group, and then you could use what they call bangs to manipulate a whole group. Let's say you want to hide 3 skins, and although those 3 skins would be in the group first, then you would basically do it with that group name. You would hide the whole group. Okay. Now, also, if that has to be in multiple groups, you could go and do this. I don't know what it actually is called. I kind of know it as command stroke, but yeah. So do this as a separator and then go with the second group. Now it would be in both groups. But yeah, later will be a tutorial coming on groups, and maybe I'll put it in the tutorial where I explain bangs and so on. Yeah. Alright. Now, the next thing is background options. Alright. Now, you can specify a background. The first thing we'll do is we'll go with background mode, because there's many different things. I'll include a link, of course, to the documentation where you can go and there's the whole Rainmeter section explained if you think I covered something not really good or whatever. Also, it is a list of all the background modes you have. That is kind of nice. So it would be, if you would go with background mode 0, it would be an image defined by the background option. We have not set that yet. So, and I've never used it because like you have to have the picture or that image right, scaled right, and so on and so forth. Number 1 is default, so it will be just transparent. You don't see any background. And you cannot click it. Now, if you go with 2, it would be solid color. Now, let's try that. If you go with solid color, you also have to specify it with, well, solid color, and then you could go with 255.0.0. That would be red as a background. So, oops, you know, if you refresh that, well, there's the red background. Okay. Now, you can also do 2 colors, or I think 2 is the most. So solid color 2, 0.0.255. So with blue. Now, if you refresh it, it would go. It's kind of like a in C Sharp. There's also these brushes where you would have to linear gradient. Thanks, that's the word. So that's kind of similar to that. Now, you can also specify an angle if you um, have your gradient gradient angle. So let's go with, I don't know, 60, and it would also always be in degrees. Now you see that it's kind of like over here a little bit and goes like that. So that would be the 60-degree angle. And you also can specify bevel or the bevel type. Now, bevel type 0 is that what we have right now. That's the default. If you put 1, it will be raised, and with 2 it will look like it's sunken in. So here it looks like it comes out of the screen, and here it looks like it goes into the screen. It's like pushed in. And 0, of course, is default. Okay. Now, there's also something you can do with the transparency. Like, if you don't want to have you want the transparent background, but if it's transparent, let's just do that for a second. By the way, that semicolon is for a comma test, so that it will not be read by Rainmeter. Now, if I click here, I still get my normal background menu popping up because I click through the skin where the background is transparent. Now, what you could do is you put solid color to 000, comma, and then I think it's 1, yeah, because that's the alpha. Now, if you refresh that, it looks still the same, but right? Why is it not working? It is supposed to actually, oh, background mode 1. I'm sorry. Now, background mode 2, fill with solid color. There we go. And refresh now. It still looks the same, but if you click here, you definitely have a background because you get the menu for your skin, which is kind of nice. Okay, now, but the more interesting thing is how can we use picture as a background? So, if you, oh, sorry, let's go here and go get the user start. Okay, now here I already added a folder called Add Resources. So in this folder you would put all of your resource files, and in here there is a background.png. Now this would be the default background that I've just taken from the Illustro theme because I'm thinking about making my skins look like it. I think it's kind of nice and pretty basic. So right now, if we want to use this background, we have to specify here a background mode of it is either 1, 3, or 4. Now let's go 3 first. You now have to specify background, and here to use your resource, you would go with hashtag add hashtag, and then background dot png. Okay. Now, if you reload that, it should it displays your background. Okay. So, and then also there is a background margins. Now let's go with 10 and 20, I think. Yep. Let's see. There's nothing. Okay, I've not really figured out what the background margins do. It's a little bit weird, but they have to do something, so yeah, they're just not. Okay. Anyways, there's this option. Theoretically, what it should do is it should put a margin on the scale. Like, no, the documentation reads that if background mode equals 3, background margins defines margins of the background image that are not scaled. It doesn't really make sense to me, but okay. I just wanted to throw that out that it is available. So, there's also some context options, which I will discuss in a later tutorial. You can define actions, which we'll also cover in a separate tutorial. And there are a couple rules. So in the Rainmeter sections, you cannot use dynamic variables or the set option bang. So just so you know. Now, if you have there's also the aero blur, but for me it doesn't change anything. And they also said it's not supported by Windows 8 and it's only supported by Windows Vista and 7, but I think Vista only and I'm not exactly sure, but it's not completely supported, and so it's a little bit weird. So I'm not gonna cover that because one, it doesn't work. Two, I can't tell you guys anything about it. So yeah. Okay, and then there are a couple of depreciated options. Like you can set the author, but that is not supposed to be here. That is supposed to be in the metadata section, which we'll get into a second. Then you can also set the app version, but for that there would be the skin packager, which I will probably make a known video about. And then there is the local font option. Local font is also depreciated here. It is supposed to be in the resources section, and I think I will at some point use just a custom font to show you guys how to do it. And that basically is the options that you have for the Rainmeter section. Now, we'll also do the metadata section. Here, metadata. And in here, there's just kind of like the information about the skin. So what you can say is the name, and name would be in this case still hello world. Next thing is author. So for me that would be Dark Phantom. Then you can give a little bit of information about your skin. So this is a YouTube tutorial. Okay, you can set your version. Even though supposedly you should do it over the skin packager, it is not depreciated in here. Let's just do that. And you can also go with license and set your license. Now, when I will do the video about the skin packager and kind of like where to put your skins, how to make it public, and so on, I'll also explain a little bit about licensing. So what license are there and what do they mean and whatnot. So this is basically it. Was a little bit dry. Sorry guys. I just thought it's really important to know the basics, and the background is something you could definitely use, and which is really nice. All the update and update divider. We will talk about this again when I will do the videos about measurements, and probably also the dynamic window size. Well, we'll see. Yeah. Okay. So that was pretty much it. I'm not exactly sure what I will cover next in my tutorials. I'm thinking a little bit about the measurements because, well, we still have a string and it's like boring. And so therefore I'll probably make a video about measurements and something that is changing where you can actually see something moving, and that's always nice. Okay, so thanks for watching. Like the video if you liked it, dislike it if you disliked it, and please leave comments. I'm always eager to know what you think about my tutorials or what I could improve on, or what things you would want to see, like any specific topics or anything like that. That would be really cool. Alright then, see you guys.